Hi, my name is Amber. Welcome back to my channel, Books and Beaches. So please excuse my lazy Saturday attire, but it is our very first winter snow day in Wisconsin. We had a very brown and rainy Christmas, but it is finally snowing the first weekend in January. So I decided it would just be a nice cozy Saturday. And what a better way than to get started on my 2024 reading journey. Not that I haven't started reading in 2024, I have already. But by now you've probably already seen the goals that I've kind of set for myself in 2024. Two of which are 12 books that I want to read in 2024, rather than the lofty 23 books I set last year, as well as 12 books recommended by 12 friends. So I am going to insert in this video the spins that I did to pick these books. I'm just going to keep some spinner wheels active so that at least once a month I am picking a book off of those two lists so that I can make sure I get through those lists before the end of the year, unlike not meeting that goal last year. So I'm going to insert those clips here so that you can see at least the first two picks that I will have in the month of January. All right, so you can see by those clips, the very first books that I got were The Drowning Woman by Robin Harding. So this will be the first book off of the 12 books that I want to read in 2024. And then the book off of the 12 books recommended by friends is going to be Patty Jane's House of Curl. And that is actually recommended by my coworker and good friend, Amy. Now, the only place that I could really find this one readily available was the audiobook, and it's on Scribd. Just kidding. It's now called Everand. Because the books, I don't even think the Kindle book was available. I could buy the physical book, but if the audiobook is already available to me on Everand, I might as well just read it there. And I was actually shocked to find out how short of an audiobook it was. So I'm going to be picking that one up on audio. And I haven't decided how I'm going to consume The Drowning Woman yet, just because I have the physical copy. I'm going to try to do the physical copy of this one. I need to make physical reading more of a priority in 2024. I love a good audiobook, and audiobooks are so easy for me because I can listen to them while I'm getting ready in the morning, and they're just a nice thing like while I'm winding down at the end of the night. And I was doing a lot of reading on my Kindle, and I'm still going to try to do that. But I think I'll focus on my Kindle, especially with my NetGalley reading. But I am also currently in the middle of an audiobook. So I don't know, we shall see, but I thought it would be kind of fun to vlog my process throughout this year of going through these two different lists. It'll keep me accountable, and it's just kind of fun content that I wasn't doing last year. So hopefully this will just be a fun new idea, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting started. And like I said, especially like I talked about in my goals video, I think getting recommendations from friends that are really going to pull me out of my typical reading should be pretty interesting. So I'm really looking forward to get started, and I will update you along the way. All right, different sweatshirt, same weekend. I am about 30% of the way through the audiobook of Patty Jane's House of Curl. And the whole point of the 12 books recommended by 12 friends was to put me out of my comfort zone of books. And this one is for sure doing that. I'm not really sure how I feel about it at this point. It's just different. And I love my friend Amy, and I can understand why I think she likes this one. It's interesting because it is being narrated by the author, and the author must be from Minnesota, and I think the book is taking place in Minnesota. So you are getting a heavily, like Minnesota accent, which, yes, I know I'm from Wisconsin. It's not that different. So it's just interesting. Yeah, we've got a couple of main characters, I think 2 sisters, one of which, our first, she was married young, and just before her daughter is born, her husband like disappears, takes off. And the other of which kind of falls insta love into this older, very short man. And yeah, I am not really sure where anything is going. I'm also not really sure maybe what the point of everything is. Although there was a very funny quote in the beginning about, oh, what was it? It was something about like life is full of you know what, so watch where you step. So I don't know, I thought that was funny. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep going. Like I said, I'm listening to the audiobook on Scribd, which is great because then I didn't have to worry about where I was going to find it. Just kidding, it's not Scribd anymore, it's Everand. But yeah, like I said, whole point was to kind of take me out of my comfort zone, and we will see how this one ends up. All right, I am back to update you because I finished Patty Jane's House of Curls. So, like I said, the whole point of this challenge was to push me out of my comfort zone, and this book definitely did, because this was not a book that I would have picked up basically at all had I not asked my friends for recommendations. And this book was, cute is not the right description for it, but it was like dare I say, like a good old Midwest story. We've got 2 sisters who have somewhat different paths in life, and one thing, I was actually talking to my friend / coworker who recommended this book to me, and I was like, it is unbelievable everything that this family goes through, and this book is not very long. I'm actually just looking at Goodreads. It's only 304 pages. Now, granted, I listened to the audiobook, and I just thought they go through so much. So I thought that might have been a little bit over the top. And I'm pretty sure at one point in the book, even one of the characters like calls out how much they go through. But the book is narrated by the author, and I think the author is also from Minnesota, which is where the book takes place. So you are getting like that very authentic like Minnesotan accent, which then I wonder, I'm like, is that how I sound? Which, I get it, I'm from Wisconsin, it's gonna happen. But it was a sweet book. There were moments where I rolled my eyes because they're just, a few things. But then there were some really like touching moments where I can understand, I teared up a little bit. So it wasn't a terrible book by any means. Definitely like out of my comfort zone, like I said. So I gave it a 3. It was good. I can see how people would like it. And then I have to say, it was neat being able to talk to my coworker today about it and about why she recommended it to me, because I hadn't really gotten a chance to talk to her since she had commented on the Facebook post, where I asked for these recommendations. And she actually told me the whole reason this is one of her favorite books is because I believe it was her aunt or her great aunt like gave her this book and told her to read it and said that it was one of her favorite books. And so she just has this like wonderful memory surrounding her on this book. And so that just made it more special. So it wasn't that, she thought this was a perfect book for me or anything like that. It's a book that's very meaningful to her. And so it makes me smile that I read it, even if I found it like a little cheesy or something like that. So that is all of my thoughts on Patty Jane's House of Curl. And once again, that's by Lorna Landvik. I am going to continue this vlog and talk about my other spin that I did, and that'll be about The Drowning Woman by, I'm looking over here on my shelf, Robin Harding. Hopefully I'll get to that one. We actually just found out tonight night early that we have a snow day tomorrow. We are expected here in Wisconsin to get anywhere between they're predicting 6 and 12 inches of snow. And I love when they call a good snow day early. So hopefully tomorrow I will get lots of good reading done. I actually am in the middle of another audiobook, but if I can finish a book or two tomorrow, I would not complain, because if we're getting that much snow, I do not want to go anywhere. So I will update you when I have something to talk about. So I was sitting here at my desk about to get ready for an event I'm going to tonight and realized I never started part 2 of this vlog about the second book I was going to read, and that is The Drowning Woman, get this in frame, by Robin Harding. And at this point, I'm 40% of the way into the audiobook. So I have the physical book here, but I happen to also have the audiobook. Must have gotten it at some point. And so I am really enjoying listening to it. I will have to look up who is doing the narrating. It's on my iPad. Basic premise is we have a woman who has left New York after she had opened a restaurant, and basically after the pandemic, the restaurant has failed and she owes a lot of money to a lot of, or at least one not so great person, and has ruined ties with her family and just kind of escapes town. And so basically is living out of her car in the Seattle area and saves a woman who appears to be drowning in the ocean. And these two kind of strike up this very odd friendship, because the woman that she saves is this very wealthy woman who has quite the abusive marriage, and it's going from there. Now, I am about 40% of the way in, so I don't want to say too much because I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to say too much because I don't want this to be too spoiler. I never want any of my blogs to be too spoiler. But now we are getting the perspective of the actual woman who is married. And so it would probably be helpful if I included some names in here. So our first character who came from New York, her name is Lee, and she is basically our homeless character. And so now in the second part, we are getting Hazel's viewpoint, which is the woman that she saved from drowning. And so I'm just finding it super interesting at this point because, well, you're seeing things from a different perspective and things are just not what they may seem. So really enjoying this one so far. And like I said, when I think I first introduced this vlog, this book has been highly talked about in a lot of I want to say the different thriller / psychological group, book groups that I'm a part of online. Granted, I don't think I've heard many of the people that I follow on BookTube talk about this book, but I'm really liking it so far. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. And on here it says she was the internationally best-selling author of The Party. So now I'm gonna have to look up what that book is. But yeah, I'm curious to see where this is gonna go, because from the way it was being set up, things have turned. And so since I'm only at 40%, I'm curious. So I don't know. I'll keep you updated because that's just the nature of how vlogs go. And like I said, I know I'm being kind of vague, but I don't want to be spoilery. So we shall see what happens and I'll keep you updated. All right, I am fresh back from the gym and so looking forward to warming back up because it is absolutely frigid outside in Wisconsin. We got dumped on with snow the last couple days. We had 2 snow days in last week, and now all of a sudden the temperatures are dropping into the single digits, and with wind chills we are down in the negatives, and I wasn't ready, even though this is very typical for this time of year. So just those little jaunts from the doors of the gym to my car, and then I don't even have to go outside once I'm in my garage, but it's just so cold. My fingers are freezing. But I am looking forward to sitting down and hopefully, I believe I should be finishing. I'm gonna grab my iPad here. The Drowning Woman tonight. Luckily, we don't have school tomorrow. It is Martin Luther King Jr. Day tomorrow, and it is a fairly new holiday that our school district has off. But yeah, I have an hour and 51 minutes left in the audiobook, so I should be able to finish that tonight. I did a little bit of listening this morning, and I'm not going to give too much away, but there were a few little twists in there that I guess I wasn't expecting. We have switched back into, I was going to almost say her main character, Robin. No, that's the author. Our main character, Lee, her perspective. So we started with Lee, bounced to Hazel, and now we're back to Lee. And yeah, there's just a few twists in there as we kind of continue through her story and some of the investigation that she's doing. So I can't wait to see where this one's gonna go. So yeah, I hope to finish it, and I will update you once I get to the end. All right, I'm back. I'm looking a bit of a mess, but I did finish The Drowning Woman, and wow, that was a ride. It went to even places I wouldn't have expected it to go to, and like I said, I am keeping this vlog like spoiler free. But we do get to switch back to Hazel's perspective, so that was pretty interesting. And yeah, it just, wow. I am going to end up giving this one 4.5 stars. There were just a few things at the end I wish we got a few more details on. And like I said, I'm not going to give too many details. Feel free, if you've read this one, to message me and we can kind of chat about it. But otherwise, I really think this was a great thriller. I'll be looking into other things that Robin Harding, right? Harding? Now I'm like second guessing myself, has written. Although as I was looking through the reviews for The Drowning Woman, people had said that some of her other books weren't as good as this one, but I'm super, super happy I picked this one up. So this will wrap up this January, spin to pick my 2 different reads. So these were off of my lists, my 12 picks from my 12 friends that I asked on Facebook, as well as the 12 picks that I made off my shelves. So month 1 done, and I completed that goal so far. Now granted, that's only the first month, but I am pretty pleased. But I'm looking forward to just hopefully keeping this up as the year goes on. So now my next project will be reading like my picked YouTuber, and I think I revealed in my bookish goals that January would be Audrey, and I am really, really excited to get that project started. So as always, if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.